You are now tuned in to The Money Zone with your host, Folasade, the accountant for entrepreneurs. The time is now, your future waits, your money matters, make no mistake, it's not too late to dominate, so don't delay, get your money straight. The money zone, together we'll achieve your goals, we're building wealth, you're not alone, so don't delay, get your money straight.
Hey, loves. Oh my goodness. So look, I just learned today that today is our season finale. So if you don't know, this is my second season. Today is our second season finale here on Root Radio Network. So I want to say, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the Money Zone and watching all of the episodes and tuning in. Your participation and your shares and everything is greatly appreciated. So guys, we're going to close out season 2 with a complete bang. Outside of the noise that you may hear behind me, hint, hint, we're still not in the studio. But today's show, we're talking about the SBA investigating the PPP loan recipients and the EIDL loan. And we're talking about what your businesses should be focused on after this pandemic. So, like, after we get past all of this, what should be your focus? So, guys, if you're a small business owner or if you know of a small business owner that received a PPP loan and want details on how not to get arrested, then they need to be tuning in. And if you are a small business and you're worried about how to come out of this or how to use this pandemic as your crutch to build your business to the next level, you want to share this video with those people. So guys, what we're going to do, we're going to take a quick break and then we'll be right back. Hey guys, so welcome back. So if you don't know who I am, I'm your host of the Money Zone on RadioNetwork.com, Folasade, the accountability accountant, guys. Look, so this show, just so you guys know, it's all about money, business, and everything that impacts it. So your family impacted, your schedule, your time management, your systems, your processes. Everything in and out of your life impact your finances. So that's what we talk about here on the Money Zone. So guys, don't forget to definitely come back June 9th because today is our season finale. And catch up with us. We're going to have a lot to talk about, a lot of changes. So guess what we're talking about tonight? Oh, nah. Okay. Now, y'all know I'm not racist or anything like that. But let's really be honest. What is consistent in every horror movie? The black person goes first, right? Or not in every horror movie, but any movie almost, right? The black person always dies first. Okay. So the PPP situation is the same. All right. So we have VH1's ex-husband, Carly Red's ex-husband, is made as an example. So you guys will not commit, guess what? PPP fraud for this payroll protection loan. So they say, look, the black person always get caught, goes down to the ground. That's actually the same situation here. But you know what? He put that on themselves. It's not like a movie and they just walking down the hallway and they got to run, right? No, in this particular case, Maurice from Love and Hip Hop, Carly Red's ex-husband, actually got caught up. Guess what? Watch the video. Let's see. Did I even? You guys are about to see really quick. Hold on. Oh, man. Okay, here we go.
Maurice Fain, better known as Arkansas Mo, was out here flaunting his emergency funds fraudulently. This according to authorities who arrested the reality star for scamming the system. It's kind of unfair. Fain, who appeared on the 8th season of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, claimed his company Flame Trucking needed some assistance due to the coronavirus pandemic. He applied for the Paycheck Protection Program loan and was granted $2,045,800 to assist his 107 employees. However, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, Mo allegedly used over $1.5 million of the loan to buy $85,000 worth of jewelry, including a Rolex presidential watch, a diamond bracelet, and a 5.73-carat diamond ring. Plus, he paid $40,000 in child support. Agents then seized 80 racks from his home, and the remaining $500,000 was seized from 3 bank accounts. Fain was ultimately arrested and charged with bank fraud, but he denies the charges. That sounds like some BS. BS or not, it sounds like Arkansas may be facing some significant jail time. Do you think he really committed fraud? Let us know in the comment section below. For HipHollywood.com, I'm Vanessa Barnett.
Okay, y'all. So look, Maurice Fain, then got himself completely caught up. So the Department of Justice listed out his whole case. So I'm just going to briefly read it out. It says, Atlanta, Maurice Fain, who stars in Love and Hip Hop Atlanta, has been arrested on federal bank fraud charges arising from the Paycheck Protection Program loan that he obtained in the name of Flame Trucking. The defendant allegedly took advantage of the emergency lending provisions of the Paycheck Protection Program that were intended to assist employees and small businesses battered by the coronavirus by U.S. Attorney Bog J. Bijak Park. We will investigate and charge anyone who inappropriately diverts these critical funds for their own personal gain. The defendant allegedly stole money meant to assist hard-hit employees and businesses during these difficult times, and instead greedily used the money to bankroll his lavish purchases of jewelry and other personal items, said Assistant Attorney General Brian. The department will remain steadfast in our efforts to root out, prosecute frauds against the Paycheck Protection Program. At a time when small businesses are struggling for survival, we cannot tolerate anyone driven by personal greed who misdirects federal emergency assistance earmarked for keeping businesses afloat. The defendant allegedly sought personal gain from a program intended to assist hardworking Americans in this challenging time. So right now, they're going to use Marcus as an example, so you guys will not attempt to defraud the SBA and the U.S. government in receiving this PPP loan. So why we're talking about this on the Money Zone is, number one, it's a loan. Number two, it's relative to business. But number three, it's important that we discuss this tonight because many of you are concerned on how to possibly get your loan to qualify for forgiveness. So on top of all of that, what you guys need to understand, and I'm going to share my screen one more time, is that the SBA has beefed up, their investigations regarding the SBA, the PPP, and the EIDL loan. So, for example, and I'm about to share my screen, they have implemented their own task force, to better investigate the fraud. So it says, emergency COVID-19 relief legislation signed into law by President Trump, including the Coronavirus Act, the CARES Act, allocated more than $2 trillion, right, to aid individual businesses and nonprofits, right? Investigations of the SBA loan fraud. Lenders and borrowers who participate in the PPP, EIDL, and other SBA loan programs must comply with numerous rules and restrictions, including those described in guidance provided by the SBA on April 23, 2020, and face potential investigations by the SBA Office of Inspector General. If their practices do not comply with the law, for instance, a small business owner who inflates their average monthly payroll costs or employee headcount to qualify for a larger loan or to avoid repayment of the PPP loan could face criminal liability. Guys, do you remember in about 3 or 4 episodes on the Money Zone, guys, when I discussed the mere fact that if you are not properly doing your bookkeeping, or if your income is overstated, or if you're not properly tracking your expenses, then you have more than likely overstated your income. If that's the case, then you might fall within this particular category of overstating your revenue so you can now receive a higher loan. So they are starting to investigate. So this is why it's extremely important that you all understand, coming out of this tough time, that having an accountant and having your bookkeeping and having things in order is required. This is a requirement. Bookkeeping, accounting, taxes, that is required, okay? Now, you may not have to market your business. You may not have to do Facebook ads, but guess what? You have to do your accounting. And in this particular case, for all of the businesses that lack proper accounting, okay, will end up getting themselves in 2 predicaments. One, either the loan no longer forgiven and you have to repay all of the monies back, right? Or number 2, because you don't have your numbers in order, your books are all over the place, and you cannot properly track everything, then guess what? You can lead yourself into investigation to see whether or not you actually needed the money, okay? Also, they say, similarly, a business owner or executive who falsely certifies that a business meets the SBA's applicable size and affiliation rules to qualify for the PPP loan could face criminal liability. And that's exactly what's going to happen to Maurice in this particular case. He said he had 107 employees. It seemed like he overstated his size, his business size. So if you have 107 employees and your monthly payroll is $1 million, then okay, great. But if that's not the case, then they're going to ding him in terms of the law and throw the book at him in this particular case, because he's certified. When you guys sign those documents, you certify that this information is true and accurate. And the moment that you overstated anything, it put you in grounds of one, falsifying your application. Okay. They also said that the SBA has also warned that all PPP borrowers must certify in good faith that current economic uncertainty makes the PPP loan request necessary to support the ongoing operations of the business. So basically, they're saying that you need to show that your business will not be able to survive, or would not have been able to survive, if you did not receive the funding. So now this is where it gets extremely tricky, is because all of this is predicated this time that we're in right now. However, if we are looking at what business is predictions. Business is basically preparing yourself for the uncertainty, for the worst. And as a business owner myself, with employees like myself, we have to look for 6 months from today. We can't just say, oh yeah, the SBA gave us $15,000 and that's going to cover payroll for the next 4 weeks, 8 weeks, right? No, most real business owners with overhead employees and real customers and clients and stuff, they're already thinking about what they need to do to maintain and sustain and grow in July. We're already thinking about what's September moves. What does the ecosystem look like? Where is things heading? We're doing research. We're investigating. So right now, that claim can be, if you're working with the right accountant, you can show the level of uncertainty, okay? Depending on if your business is seasonal and depending on where your business was in terms of its finances when we went into this. So remember, my goal is for each and every one of you to have a 6 months, okay, rainy day fund. However, the average business owner had 21 days. So if you were one of those business owners that did your budget and it showed that your business did not have enough money saved to cover your expenses for this 3 months, then you qualify for the PPP loan. There is a level of uncertainty. However, businesses with large savings and investments and liquid assets, right? Then this policy may trump you in this particular case. So if I were you guys, this is the time, honestly, for you to really get your accounting and stuff in order, because they're going to be asking you for additional paperwork. Like the SBA have already issued their guidelines, and me and my team were working on getting those things out to you guys. So if you have qualified for a PPP loan, you will need assistance on trying to get the loan forgiven, and me and my team are helping individuals do that. So if you receive the PPP loan, don't forget to message me either on this video or email us at bit.l, or go to my website bit.ly/Folasade leads and get on my calendar. But this is the thing. They also said that if you do not strategically, but if you don't legally, strategically get your business expenses to qualify for the forgiveness aspect of the loan, then that's also fraud. So for example, let's say you claim your business had a mortgage, but the mortgage was never in your business name. You cannot prove that your business is utilizing the facility that is paying the mortgage on. However, it is. If you had your records and stuff, you might be. So that might be another way where you're forcing certain expenses to qualify for the forgiveness aspect of it. You lump it and say, oh, that additional mortgage payment right there, that $3,000, that's for my office space. When you know that was for your girlfriend's personal house, okay? Or you know that was for your personal household, you know? So guys, you just have to basically tread very lightly and understand that it's not free money. A lot of people have the misconception of it's free money. And I also said that this is the lowest interest in the lowest loan interest rate that you will ever possibly get in your lifetime. And that's true. However, it's not free money because you still have to pay 1% interest on it. But most importantly, if it's not forgiven completely, you do have to repay it. And they want to, I honestly feel like between us guys, that this is a way for them to recover as much money to save the economy once again. So they gave us this money to prevent our employees from filing for unemployment and everything else, and to keep some money circulating in the economy. But it also seems like them tightening up these regulations is another way for them to not only get the money back, but also profit on it as well. Because if less loans become forgivable, right, then that means that they're going to retain or get more interest from each person. So they would end up making more money on the loans if they were to say, oh, everybody loans are forgivable. There's not too much requirement. So this is why there's 11-page application. This is why you have to have worksheets and data and more than likely financial statements and stuff, guys, to be able to get your loan forgiven. So this is the time, if you know you do not have your accounting in order and your finances are all over the place, before you go spend that PPP money recklessly, make sure you have your finances and stuff in order. Make sure that you're able to back up everything that you are investing in your business right now. Okay. So on another note pertaining to the PPP is that one, they're coming up with different regulations. So right now we have this 11-page application, and I'll show you guys the 11-page application. Let me take it out of my little planner. Right now we got this 11-page application to get it forgiven, right? And that's right now. However, your lender is capable of asking you for any additional paperwork that they deem necessary to see whether or not your expenditures fully qualify for forgiveness. Okay? So here's the thing. They did not specify what grounds the lenders have. So automatically, you have to give the lender two applications. Well, let me say two worksheets, right? Guaranteed, you have to give the lender two worksheets to show, well, in conjunction with your PPP loan forgiveness application, right? However, outside of that, what else would they ask you for? Are they going to ask you for your payroll reports? Guaranteed. Are they going to ask you for your profit and loss statement? Possibly. Are they going to ask you for your bank statements for that month? Maybe. You know, so guys, this is where it's time for you to fully understand that having your finances in a row is required. Okay, so here's the 11-page application, guys. And so just so you all know, the moment that you sign on any federal documents, if you look at the bottom, you're certifying against certain laws as well. So the moment that you sign it, even if you don't put your initials by something, okay, you're still obliging to some particular law. So just be mindful when you guys filling out these government paperwork for all these loans and stuff, that they coming for you. Look at what they did with Maurice. It's embarrassing that they had to put it out there. But honestly, and me and my PR team, we were talking today. Well, not really talking, but via text message. She was like, I can't believe he got caught that fast. And I was like, me too. But when I think about it, most individuals started getting money around what? The first week of March, into February. And so you ended up getting the money, all right? And then what happened? You just started spending excessively? Like, what happened? What triggered the investigation? So here's what triggered the investigation. Any loans that were above $2 million ended up getting some special attention. So here's why in all of your applications, especially here on the SBA loan, it says it here. If you have received a loan above $2 million, please check this box. So what they did, they created a safe harbor, meaning, yes, you can still be investigated. Okay. But for loans under $2 million, you're kind of under that safe harbor. So they won't investigate you too much, depending on the amount. But any loans above $2 million. So I think that's where he got messed up at. Now, if he actually didn't exaggerate extensively in the application, 107 truckers, all right. Problem number one. Number two is that he more than likely should have never tried to get above the 2 million if he knew he was just trying to fraud the system. You should have stayed within some grounds. And he didn't, and he was reckless. And then honestly, when you're making major lump sums, and that child support is probably what triggered it. So so let me give you guys some history, and then we're going to take a big break after this one. So recently, I've been working with a few people, and they're trying to get funding, not from PPP, but just normal funding for business purposes and personal purposes. And so one of the individuals had ended up using a business loan for personal purposes, right? A large amount of money, over close to $100,000. So the lender said, the underwriter said, well, do you know it's against FTC, FCC regulations, or UCC, Uniform Commercial Code, the UCC code, to use business funding for personal use? So I think honestly, when he paid that $40,000 for child support, that's what triggered it. You are not supposed to use business loans, business proceeds for personal gain. Okay? Now, he could have paid himself a salary that was congruent to what his normal salary was, and you can do so too. So don't worry about that part. You can pay yourself a salary. You're supposed to pay yourself a salary. So if he would have just went on ahead, not got the $2 million, got an amount that was beneath that, paid his normal salary, and then if he had some savings and his personal savings outside of the business, he could have probably went to spend a little bit of money on himself, right? Because it wasn't the loan money that he was using. He had his personal savings. But in this particular case, the moment that you end up using business funding for personal gain, you're breaking the UCC code. I don't know what code it is. I didn't even think to research it for you guys because it's just coming up in my mind, honestly. But that's where I think the problem went with him. And many of you are going to have the same problem because you're not managing your finances well. You're not doing your bookkeeping, so we honestly don't know what you are paying yourself, or if you are, you're probably utilizing the business bank account to pay personal expenses. And you're probably all over the place in your record keeping. And if that's you, then to prevent any future headache, get your accounting and finances in order. Don't be like Maurice, because see, this is the thing. The businesses that got their things in order, they don't have to cheat the system to get a loan. They're not even interested in getting a loan. Okay? So think about that. Guys, we're about to take a quick break. Don't forget to share the video with your friend, and don't forget to follow me on all things social media, Folasade the Accountant. So guys, just one more thing. When we come back from our to season 3, right, we will now be accepting sponsorship opportunities from many of you. So I have received multiple DMs and Facebook messages about advertising on the Money Zone. So you will have the opportunity to advertise your business. So look out for that. We will post it on all of my social media as well. So guys, look, share the video, and then we're going to be right back. Okay? All right. Hey guys, so if you're just tuning in, I'm your host, Folasade. You're tuned in to The Money Zone on RipRadioNetwork.com, guys. Today is our second year season finale. Second year. You guys get the gist, right? Second year season finale, guys. And on segment 1 today, we talked about the SBA are starting to investigate PPP loan recipients, okay? And we talked about VH1's Maurice Falcon, Carly Red's ex-husband's got caught up, right? So now we're about to shift just a little bit, because many of you are probably wondering what need to be done, or what you need to be focusing on right now, and what you should be doing moving forward, right? Like, what does that look like? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. So if you're a business owner, I advise you to share this video. If you're watching us anywhere, invite a friend as well. That's all I ask you guys to do. But do me one favor, go grab your pen and your paper, because I know you're going to need to write this stuff down. Okay, so after all of this, so really we have to be honest with ourselves. This is not an airborne disease, but this is not a sexual transmitted type of disease like HIV or STD or whatever, right? This is something where if you touch somebody, they breathe on you, cough on you, that they're going to get it. Our lives will never be the same. So the first thing that many of you need to be focused on, and this for all of my business individuals, and then also you as the consumer, you have to also be mindful of the changes that we as business owners have to take and the different routes and directions or different processes and systems that we have to implement just so we can better serve you guys in the most easiest, smoothest process. So right now, your biggest concern moving forward is your team's health. Okay? Your team, your family, your health. Health should be a number one priority, because the last thing that you want is for you to send your go-getter out to talk to a customer. They don't have their face mask. They don't have their gloves. You didn't equip them. They get coughed on, and then they're in a hospital sick, and then guess what? We don't know if they're going to die or if they're going to be out for months. But the end result is you're going to lose revenue because that person was your top seller, and now whatever revenue that you're accustomed to them bringing in is no longer there. So we have to understand a few things right now. Health is wealth, right? And I think that's really what we should be focused on right now. Think about it. You got the flashiest car. You got the flashiest everything. Nobody not seeing you, boo. Nobody not seeing you. Your health, the way you look, the way you feel, breathe, talk, that is what matters. So honestly, health and wellness must be a priority. And so if you don't know what to do, this is when you need to consult other entrepreneurs that focuses in the health and wellness industry to really come and implement a policy or process for your team. So that's definite number one moving forward. Focus on health and wellness. Number two, look, guys, if you've been following me on social media for a very, very long time, I've been doing live streaming and content creation since 2015, beginning of 2015. Okay, I was one of the first live streamers out here. Didn't know what I was doing. Okay. What I did was I started to pivot my business to online. I had my office space, but I realized that I couldn't grow to the level that I wanted to. So lo and behold, all of the stress that I went through all of those years ago prepared me for today. You guys have to prepare your business to operate in a virtual/remote environment. Now, everything may not be remote or virtual. However, you may have to practice social distancing if you put on a conference. Sierra Glam Shop, she just did her the Sierra's Way class in Atlanta, right? And she did a social distancing, and it looked like that worked. Now, you may not be able to do your normal conferences and your normal VIP retreats and everything else that you ladies have going, all of you ladies and gents have going on right now. But let's be honest, it is still opportunity out there, and the opportunity is you pivoting right now and preparing your environment for virtual and remote events, but also to be able to work for the long haul. Like, honestly, me and my team don't even have to have my office. Like, I'm even considering letting my office go. But then where would I meet? You know what I mean? Clients at. Where would I, use the conference room? I'm going to pay somebody to do that, or am I going to be near my printer, my computer? So there's just a lot of logistical things for me to completely wipe out my brick and mortar. But I can get a smaller box, right? And you could too. So this is the time. Make sure you prepare your environment, your business, and client acquisitions into a more virtual/remote aspect. Okay. The next thing you need to do is make sure your business is appealing to the appropriate audience. So for example, now with me, it's a catch-22. So like here on the Money Zone, I can be down to earth. You can see a little bit of ratchetness in me, my little hoodness. I might be a little proper, may seem a little ditzy to some of you, but some of you know I'm really, really smart, whatever the case may be, right? This is not how I am when I'm talking to my corporate clients. I am more stern. I'm not as down to earth, like very stiff. That ain't even my personality, but I know how to switch. So in your particular case, right, you have to know how to appeal to the different audiences and the different markets that you're trying to retain, okay? So for example, many of you might say, oh, Folasade not stiff enough for me. I don't want to be stiff. Like I was stiff for like 10 years, 15 years. I always used to say, the only thing I hate about being an accountant is that I can't be my bubbly self. So what I realized, guess what? I don't even want no clients that's serious. They're not my clients. There's somebody else that appeals to a more stiffer environment. Somebody that's not down to earth and relaxed. I'm more simple, layman's terms, how's your family, spiritual, just a different type of accountant. So you have to know who you appeal to and communicate and look the part, okay? When I wasn't sure on my clients, I always looked primped and proper, like tight suit, perfect, right? You'll still see me if I go out. I'll be looking perfect too, but that was what I wanted to attract. Now I realize I don't want that. I just want to be able to be me, and you guys are paying me for this, my knowledge. So know how to market to your audience, what you have to do to market to your audience, who do you have to be to fit that market, and to attain or attract that client and build around that. So that means you need to be a little bit more creative and innovative, to acquire more clients, okay? Also, this is the time for all of us to figure out how we can attract to our younger consumers, because when we think about it, I am now servicing clients from age about not necessarily 25. Okay, if the 25-year-old got money, I'm servicing them. But if the 25-year-old is still a college student, I'm not. So the 25-year-olds independent on their own, I'm servicing them. So let's say my market is from 28 to 65. That is my market, okay? What I realize is that 28 to 65, that's great. But when the 65-year-olds no longer have to file a tax return or they're no longer managing their businesses, I need to appeal to whoever's going to take over their business. I need to also appeal to the younger generation as well, because they're going to be the ones that start the business. Do I know what Gen X like? Have I started watching Gen X and how they operate? Do they want honesty? Do they want transparency? Do they want a stiff suit? Do they want what was the word I was going to say? Shallowness. Are they superficial? What do Gen X want? Like, we have to start to figure that out. Just like they were studying us millennials far before we even coined the term millennial. They were studying us, and we also have to do the same. Okay. The last thing I definitely need all of you guys is to definitely save. Okay. Preserve all of your financial resources. Okay. Preserve. Do not be outside is here. Outside is here, right? And you jumping out and you're doing the most. Please don't. There's just so much uncertainty with outside right now. And honestly, could your finances sustain if you were to get sick? I always say this to my sister, girl, I can't afford to break a leg because I got to work. But what I realized, I can literally break my leg and I can still work. Now I may have to hop up from downstairs, but I can still work. Now, if I go into a ventilator, I may not be able to work, but I have systems, I have processes. Now, if somebody didn't have to speak to me, they don't need to speak to me to, become a client. If they wanted to, work with Suncrest, they don't have to speak with me. They can call the office. My team would know what contract to send them and paperwork, and the process will flow right along. You have to now preserve everything that's rightfully yours. And that starts with your health and your wealth and your family. Preserve that. Going outside and coming in, contracting something and giving it to your loved ones, it's not worth the risk. Number 2, save your money. There are going to be so many more businesses, and I'm going to close out in about 10 minutes, but I'm about to show you this Harvard review. And this goes right in line with what I want to say. The Harvard Business Review did a study on what needs to happen, what businesses need to do to survive and to come afloat from this tough time. And the article is called A Way Forward for Small Businesses. The first findings say our findings on the current small business landscape is that 1, large numbers of small businesses have shut down and laid off huge numbers of workers. In our sample, 45% of small businesses were temporarily closed due to COVID-19. Total employment by these businesses declined by 40% since the end of January. The economic carnage was particularly acute at the epicenter of the American pandemic, the Mid-Atlantic region that surrounds New York City. In that area, more than 55% of small businesses had closed and employment had fallen by 44%. Okay? It said the magnitude of the shock to demand for small businesses is hard to overstate. When we launched the survey on March 26, roughly 49% of the U.S. population was living under some sort of shelter-in-place or stay-at-home order. 1 week later, roughly 87% of the U.S. population was living under state order. This highlights both the severity of the situation and the pace at which things are evolving. So here's the thing. A lot of states are reopening, but if you guys pay attention to the numbers, the stats, the numbers are growing higher. It is not smart physically for our health for you guys to be out, but also financially because your family may not be able to sustain if you were to die. Do you have life insurance? Do you have enough life insurance? Will your job cover you if you get sick due for COVID and you wasn't at job and you didn't contract it at the job? See, many of you guys have to understand that what we do right now determines our outcome. So if you're going out right now risking everything because you want to be in the street and be outside, then guess what? You're putting your family at risk. You're putting your finance, you're putting your legacy, you're putting all of that at risk, and it's really not worth it. So I advise all of you guys to preserve your health, preserve your finances. And what I mean by preserve your finances, cut back on your debt. Start reaching out to different creditors and seeing if you can consolidate some things. See what you can pay off, okay? Start becoming debt-free. This is why the government had to give us all stimulus checks and stuff because guess what? There's no savings in the land. No one's saving. They knew what they were doing. So we have to ask ourselves, as Americans, are we the ones to really to blame for the financial crisis that we're in, or is it the pandemic? It's not the pandemic. The pandemic is just what's bringing it all to the forefront. It is our poor habits. I've been coming online for 4.5 years, almost 5 years, actually 5 years. Telling you guys to manage your accounting, do your bookkeeping, do this. And I knew I was in a long game, but I did not know it was going to take you guys to go through a pandemic and for all of you to lose everything before you start to listen to me. And right now, many of you have not lost everything, but some of you are going to come back to this video in 5 months and say, ha, in my Nigerian, Shade told me. Shade told me. She told me to save my money, and I didn't save my money, and now I don't know what to say. I can't afford to work with this lady. I don't know what to do. I can't come on Facebook. I'm embarrassed, right? So, what life do you guys want to live? Because I'm staying myself in the house. My office is not going to open until maybe 2021, okay? Simply because I've set my business up to be able to do so. Number 2, I believe that my team's health and wealth is a priority. And number 3, guess what? We are saving over here. We're saving and saving and saving. So I advise you guys to do the same exact thing. And listen to me here. We are not stunting for daddies no more. We're not doing big things. We're not doing that no more, right? You do what you do for you now. So if you need a day out, that's when you do something. Or if you need to treat yourself because you work so hard and you haven't bought yourself something, then that's when you do it. Do it because you deserve it. It's a celebratory moment. But if you're buying stuff to look good for the Joneses, just ask the Joneses how much money they have. If you're buying something to do it because somebody else have it, you're not being true to you. And right now, with everything that's happening, the least that we can all do is be true to ourselves. And that means if you wasn't a label whore, stop acting like it. If you broke, stop acting like you're rich. If your business is struggling, stop acting like you're not struggling. Go out and get help. This is now where, guess what? It's not about the frauds. It's all about honesty, integrity, and being true. You might need someone and they might need you, but because you're hiding behind the camera, because you're not willing to move forward and understand that our lives will change, you're not accepting our reality, being transparent and honest, and accepting that our lives will never be the same. Everything that you thought mattered didn't. It don't matter. So guys, I think that's all I got for y'all today. I'm hoping that today's season finale, look, it's Trump. Okay, guys, I was not even prepared. I probably would have had some little balloons. You know, everybody been having like the 2 in the background. I would have had the 2 in the background, right? Saying 2 years and everything. But no, I'm excited, guys. So I hope that, you know, today's show leave you thinking about what your legacy look like. Are you going to tell your children that you lost it all because you decided not to save through the most wealthiest time ever? Or are you going to leave a legacy and you're going to tell them, I stomped on that coronavirus and I made us rich and comfortable from it? You write your story. It's all on you guys. So I will see you guys June 9th. Don't forget, tune in June 9th. And if you're interested in sponsoring the Money Zone or coming on for interview, or if you think that we are aligned energy or whatever the case may be, and you want to come on the show, then we would love to have you as well. Definitely reach out. I think it's PR@accountingwithfolasade.com. PR@accountingwithfolasade.com. Guys, I love you so much and be safe. Save. And I'll see you guys June 9th. Love you guys. Good night.